Hey guys, it's Ben Ludicky with Don Jacobs marketing team, and we're out here at beautiful Keeneland in Lexington, Kentucky, and today we're going to be taking a look at the all-new Mark 8 GTI. Alright, so we're going to start out with a little walk-around video showing off some of the new looks of this GTI, and then we'll do a walkthrough of the interior and a POV drive. Starting out with the front end of the GTI, again, this is an all-new generation, so we have these beautiful new headlights, all LED, 5 honeycomb fog lights down here, and the new Volkswagen signature light strip running across the grille. All right, hopping straight into the side of the vehicle, you can see we have these all new 18-inch alloy wheels. They look amazing. Right behind that, you have red calipers. We have the signature, just beautiful, crispy Volkswagen body lines flowing straight along the side as well. Wrapping up at the back end of the GTI now, we have this all-new GTI badging right here, new lettering, along with, again, the new Volkswagen logo. Rear end just completely ties the car together. You have these awesome LED taillights here and your classic GTI dual tips. Hopping into the inside of the all-new Mark 8, you're greeted with plenty of new features that are welcome in the GTI, missing for a long time. One of those is cooled seats, so we actually have heated and cooled seats now. We also have this new seating design. It's more of a bucket style with the headrest integrated. You've got your classic GTI honeycomb trim throughout, along with the floor mats, gauge cluster, just everything. This is just classic GTI. We also have this all-new steering wheel. You'll also find this in the Tiguan and the Arteon. You've got really nice bolsters on the steering wheel, perforated leather in the hand grip section. You do have digital buttons, which are still tactile. Moving on, you also do have an all-new shifter. This one is a 6-speed. The virtual dash, which was in the 19 Golf R, is now in the new GTI, which is definitely welcome here. We also have the all-new infotainment system, kind of looking similar to Apple CarPlay, if any of you have used that before, and I'll go more into depth with that with the POV drive. Plenty of space up here as well, tons of space in the back. Not cramped whatsoever. You've got plenty of headroom in here. You also do have a sunroof with a shade, and it is a power sunroof. couple cool quick features. You do have a heated steering wheel in this, as well as different gauge cluster modes, which I'll show you guys in a little bit. You also do have a wireless charger, push button start, 2 USB-Cs, and 2 cup holders right here. And that about wraps it up for the interior, so let's hop straight into the POV drive. All right, hopping straight into the driving portion of this video, I'm just gonna go over some of the features and what it's like to drive this car. So in this, we do have a 6-speed manual with this nice new shifter here. The cockpit looks amazing here. We have the virtual cockpit with the beautiful gauge cluster, honeycomb design throughout the entire car, and you can also see that on the virtual dash here. This car drives phenomenally. I mean, this transmission is amazing. And it does have different drive modes, which you can access through a drive mode button down here. And you can cycle through all of these. It also does have DCC, which just changes up the suspension and whatnot. This is the Autobahn trim, so that will be on there. As you can see on this GTI gauge cluster right here, this is probably the best mode for the gauges. Tack in the middle, speedo on the right, and then you have boost on the left, which is pretty cool. You can also cycle through and look at some different things like a G meter and different stuff like that. There are different views on the gauge cluster, so you can switch through those. You've got a more standard look right here. Going further, you've got nav, and you do have like these 2 little boxes right here on the right. You have your speedo and whatnot, so I will get it back into the other setting now. Okay, so now let's actually talk about the driving in this car. This transmission feels amazing. The shifts are perfect. Really is an upgrade from the Mark 7. Just driving this car around a back road is just so enjoyable. It makes your daily commute just feel so fun and lively. Everything about this is aimed towards a driver who loves driving their car, even if, you know, you don't get to take your car out on fun journeys. You know, just your daily commute just becomes that much more enjoyable. The power really hits stronger in this generation. This one does make 241 horsepower and 273 foot-pounds of torque. So a little bit more horsepower and torque for this one. The boost just hits lower though, so it really feels like a larger power increase than it really is. Taking a look over here at the new infotainment, kind of set up similar to Apple CarPlay if you guys are Apple users. So you've got your map over here, audio, vehicle settings. You can also scroll through, see some information about how long you're driving, how many miles you've driven, things like that. They've really got it set up easy to use, and it's a very clean look. I think it looks a lot better than the previous generation infotainment. Now, some things that people maybe won't be a fan of is that this pretty much has all non-tactile buttons. You still do press them and they will make like a vibration and you can feel it, but they are not actual buttons, so that might bother some people. But honestly, it was really fast and easy to get used to. Not too different from your previous generation. Once you find your way around the car, you'll feel right at home. You do also have those similar LED looking buttons on the steering wheel here. These do have an actual press, but it is like a futuristic, cool look. You do have this new style steering wheel, still flat bottom. You've got your GTI logo right here and your updated Volkswagen logo. If you've ever been in an Atlas, you'll feel right at home. This is a similar steering wheel, just a little bit more aggressive. They do now have this same wheel in the R-Line Tiguan, and this is the same wheel that is in the R-Line Arteon. And then if you get a DSG, it will have paddles on the back. Obviously, with this being a manual, you just have your classic shifter. So you'll feel right at home with that. Everything's typically where you would normally find it. So you've got your lighting buttons over here, climate down here, you've got your audio and everything right here. This is dual climate, so you've got your 2 sliders right here. And if you want to access, actually in this generation you have heated and cooled seats, so you can access those right here. The steering on this car is just perfect in my opinion. It's not too heavy, not too light. Very, very playful car. I mean, this car weighs nothing, so the power really goes a long way. And this also does have a electronic limited slip differential, so it really helps you to pull through the corners. It helps deliver power to whatever wheel will get more traction, which would typically be the outside wheel. So it will just hook right around a corner, and it does get a little playful in the back if you go around a corner a little too fast. Nothing too uncontrollable though, it just adds to the fun of the vehicle. You also do have burbles now in the exhaust. I'm not sure if you guys can hear that, but when you let off the gas at a higher RPM, it will crackle and pop a little bit, which is really fun. Now let's talk a little bit about the pedals. Obviously, this being a manual, you have your clutch, brake, and gas, and they are perfectly spaced apart, so heel towing is no problem here. This does not have auto rev matching, but in my opinion really doesn't need it. Again, it's just a fun little daily. Don't need anything too crazy with this. Just really you and the car is all you get here, along with obviously all of this amazing new technology that Volkswagen's brought to us. But you'll feel right at home. If you've ever had a GTI or a Volkswagen before, you'll have no issues finding your way around this car. You get exactly what you pay for. I mean, it's just bang for your buck. You just can't go wrong with this car. Feels absolutely amazing to drive. Let's talk a little bit about how you access some of the things in this new infotainment. So obviously, like I said, you've got your volume right here, your dual climate sliders to change the temperature with ease. You also have this climate button right down here. So you can just click that and it gives you access to all of your climate control, whether that be your heated and cooled seats, fan speed, where the air is being directed, everything like that. Really simple to use. And then you can just click this X right here and it'll go back to the home screen. Click that, you're back at your main screen. You've got all your settings on this first page, like I said. Then you go back here and you've got your nav and everything that you need. You also do have your drive mode button that I stated. Right here, you've got your driving assist. So when you're not driving, it'll pop up all of your assists and you can turn those on and off as you please. Another new great thing about this interior is these amazing new seats that Volkswagen's put in. So if you take a look at these, they're more of a buckety style. The headrest is integrated, they're perforated leather. They just match the GTI's styling cues so well. You've got that red strip on the seat, on the headrest, that just flows through the interior so well. You've also got integrated lighting underneath the trim on the doors, just all around the car to add to the sort of ambiance that the GTI has going for it. On this trim, it's more of a honeycomb style, again, going back to every other GTI with that honeycomb grille. So you'll really see this prominently throughout the interior of the vehicle. The built-in navigation is actually super simple to use. I myself typically use CarPlay, so being able to hop into here and just use this nav is it's so simple. Just click on it, go to your destination, you can type it in, or you can use your voice controls through the steering wheel and just say where you want to go and it'll take you right there. It's also amazing that now you'll be able to just have your navigation up here and it will just come up here. There's no more fumbling around in the infotainment to try and switch it over, which is a real great change, because in the last generation it was somewhat difficult to go through while driving and change where your navigation is displayed. Doing a little pull here. As you can see, it has plenty of power. This car is just an absolute blast to drive. Handles so well. The ride quality, it's not too bumpy, but it's definitely a sportier ride. When you go into your different modes, it will change up how the steering feels, throttle response. It'll change the sound actuator, which is pumped in audio, to give you a little bit better of a driving experience. You know, you just hear the car more. But when you don't want to hear that and you're just trying to get from point A to point B, you can go into comfort mode and you won't hear any of that. And it's actual noise pumped in from the engine bay. There's no fake noise here. So it's real noise, you're just hearing it a little better because of how well insulated this car is. Try a downshift here, just like that. I mean, it's just so easy. This car is just begging to be driven. It's such a blast to be behind the wheel of. That's the other great thing about the GTI's lineup as well. Obviously, this being the Autobahn, you'll have a little bit more safety features. You'll have these leather heated and cooled seats, navigation, stuff like that. But if you get into the S, you just have that phenomenal car. You know, you don't have as much of the tech and safety features, but at the core of this vehicle, it's about driving. It's about the fun that you're having while in the vehicle. So if you're looking to get into a GTI, there's a whole range of vehicles, or of trims, that you can get into at whatever your price point is, which is the amazing part about this car. Thank you guys so much for taking a look at this new Mark 8 GTI with me. Stop by today or schedule your test drive online at donjacobs.com.